Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Metal Gladiator podcast. My name is Ian Sylvain, and I am the Metal Gladiator. On this episode, I am joined by my brother, William Sylvain. Say hi. Introduce yourself.
What's up, metalheads? Yeah, I'm his brother, William. I mainly collect movies, but I love me some metal too.
Oh, yeah. So, let's just get right into things. Got a good one today. The second episode's got to be good. We're gonna go ahead and talk about the thing that would be the shortest section, and that is the anticipation of Rammstein's newest album.
It's been what, 10 years since their last one,
10
I
years.
believe.
And it's been
I believe
teased for like the
2009 was
past
when he just started,
yeah,
actually.
it's been teased for like the past 2 years.
Yeah. Last thing I heard last year that they had like 20 or 30 songs ready for it.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be like massive.
Yeah, I hope it is, and I hope it's good.
Yeah, it better be 10 years.
I know.
They had to make it.
And that's like the thing. You can't you can't really blame them for having it too late. I mean, they could have had a 2 year or 3 year gap like most bands do, but I
Yeah,
guess they just got preoccupied with other stuff, and then it's like, oh, let's do a new album. It's been so long, and then that builds pressure, you know?
yeah. I think they spent a lot of time touring, more time than they expected in the U.S. and whatnot. And I think, and then too, Till Lindemann came out with his solo album, and
Right.
Emigrate put out another album as well. So there was kind of that in between as well to kind of fill the Rammstein gap.
Yeah. I was kind of expecting all the members to do solo albums, honestly. That would have been kind of
Yeah.
cool, though.
Yeah.
What would a flaky, a flake solo album sound like? That would be so cool.
More techno stuff.
Yeah. It would sound more, it would be more on the lines of like a Jordan Rudess solo album, which is the keyboardist of Dream Theater. He does some solo stuff, so it would probably
Yeah.
be a lot like that. Just all keyboard.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was so much anticipation for this album. So much so that it's gotten to the point, the more news they release about it, the more I don't care about any other releases.
Yeah.
Not that I'm like not excited for new albums by this and that band and stuff, but it's like Rammstein's new album is the one, that it's the album of 2019, possibly 2020, but I don't think so. I think it's coming out this year.
I should hope so. It's supposed to, I think.
Yeah.
Last I heard, I think the last I was hearing was like spring 2019, maybe. Is what they were talking about.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
I could see that happening because last month I saw a Facebook story of them announcing that they're finishing up the mixing of the album.
Okay. Yeah, that's they're probably close to having it ready then.
Yeah.
Because the article when I saw that they had I can't remember exactly how many it was, but it was a lot of songs that they had ready for it.
Yeah.
And that was I guess fall of last year that I read that.
Yeah.
So,
all I kind of want them to just release the album and don't release like two or three singles. Just release the
Mm,
album
yeah,
because there's so much hype for it that it's like if we release a single, it would just feel like another album release,
yeah,
like with most bands. Because I mean, a 10-year gap is long,
yeah. I
and
thought
I
we had
feel
to wait
like
a long time for the Iron Maiden
I
album.
know,
Even
but
longer for
like
Rammstein.
if you're gonna wait 10 years and then release an album, like this is just from my point of view, I wouldn't worry about singles or anything to get people more excited for it. People are already going to be excited for it, so just release the album. Just set a date, be like, this is the album, set it up for pre-order, all that.
Yeah.
And speaking of pre-order, if they do like pre-order CD and vinyl and stuff, I'm doing that. I'm definitely pre-ordering this
Oh, yeah.
album.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Like, I don't care if I got like $50 left in my account. If their album comes out and it's like gonna take up all my money just to pre-order everything. If they possibly do like 3 different colored vinyl releases of it, I'm gonna pre-order all of it. I'm gonna go broke when this album announces, becomes
Yeah.
public, and is like, hey, it's up for pre-order.
Yeah.
That's something else I want to touch on. Rammstein colored vinyl needs to happen.
Mm.
It needs to happen.
I
They
mean, I
don't.
haven't gotten looked at anything, but I've never even noticed any of their stuff on vinyl.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Like
I've
when I
got.
started seeing the stuff coming into the stores and whatnot,
Yeah. I've.
Lee and whatnot.
Yeah, I've seen a couple on eBay. Pretty much seen a copy of each of their albums, and they're all just like regular, the classic black vinyl. Don't have a colored
Yeah.
vinyl,
Mm.
which I think they do, because if they kind of like do colored vinyl, like I can see a Mutta colored vinyl with the same kind of color that is the artwork. That would
Yeah.
be awesome.
Yeah.
And then a Hosenholt, which is like snow, like a
Mm.
white, snowish like
Yeah.
vinyl. It needs to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
For sure.
hopefully we can get a spring release on this.
Yeah. I hope so. It's been a long wait.
Long wait.
I don't know if I would have made it without the Emigrate album and the Lindemann album coming out, honestly.
I know. It is a good thing that they did that, because they probably would have just like killed their entire fan base.
What a fan base we would have killed ourselves, because we just can't take a world without
I know.
Rammstein.
But yeah. This is my anticipation for it. I want like a 32 or something double disc album. I think that would be awesome. Expect that kind of concept for an album would be great for like
Yeah.
this long of a gap.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. So, any other thoughts on that?
They're coming to mind.
Yeah. We'll just say it's been 10 years again. We'll say that for the next
Yeah.
like 20 minutes.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was 2009, I think, when Leave
Oh
This
yeah.
Galadoc.
Yeah.
it was an awesome time because like 2009, Libis Frualidad came out, and then like 2010, The Final Frontier came out from Iron Maiden, and then like nothing for the next few years until whenever. When was Book of Soul? When did Book of
Book of
Soul come out?
Souls was 2015, so that was half the time that Rammstein's waiting for their album.
Yeah. Huh. I was thinking Book of Souls was longer than that, but maybe not.
Yeah,
Huh.
it felt
That's
longer when
a
you're
year.
looking for it.
Yeah, because at that point I was like, dang, it's been like 5, 6 years since I've gotten any Iron Maiden or Rammstein. It's like my
Yeah,
two favorite bands in the world, and it's a long gap on them. So
yeah.
yeah,
So, this next album that we're going to be talking about, I remember when I was texting you a couple of days ago about the album, I was like, hey, what have you been listening to? And you were like, oh, I've been listening to Toxicity by System of a Down. The next day, I go into Second and Charles over here, and I see all System of a Down albums for like $20 each. And I
oh
had to
yeah,
get Toxicity because it is their best album.
oh yeah,
But it's just funny that we were just talking about it, and we were just planning this podcast, and it was like, okay, let's talk about this album, and then I get it on vinyl the next day. So yeah. And I don't
yeah.
have any of their stuff on CD either.
Hmm.
That's my only thing in my collection is the vinyl.
Yeah, I saw your Instagram post of the vinyl, and so I was wondering if you already had it and just hadn't posted it, and you decided to post it because we were talking about it, or if you went
Yeah.
out and bought it.
Yeah, that was the story
So,
there. But
right
like I
on.
wasn't looking for it cuz what caught my eye was the first album actually with the
Oh yeah,
hand for the cover
yeah.
art, and I was like, "Ooh," so I started flipping through it.
Mm.
I had no plans. I originally had no plans to buy a vinyl that day, but don't make those kind of plans because you're gonna buy a vinyl.
Yeah.
But yeah, this album is pretty great.
Yes, yes, it is. Um, so I actually started listening to it recently because I had been listening to several of the old school thrash metal Metallica, but I had been listening to that for a while. I was getting tired of it and ready to move on to something else. And then I saw Anthony Fantano did a review on YouTube of it, and so I was like, "Hey, I want to listen to that."
Yeah.
So that's
Um.
kind of what where my like I knew about it and everything, but it was just like I didn't know what I wanted to listen to, and then I saw his review on YouTube and was like, "Oh, that's what I want to listen to."
Yeah.
So I started doing that to it in my
Okay.
car.
What would you say is your favorite song besides the obvious one?
Besides Chop Suey,
Well, yeah. Well, is Chop Suey your favorite song?
I don't know. It's just it's so good, and it's like the most famous one. Uh, I don't know. It's definitely up there.
Yeah. Because I'd have to say
Um,
that it's not for me.
really.
Yeah. I'd have to say
I
that
mean,
Ariel's is my favorite.
I was thinking Ariel's too.
It's so good.
If I did like a top three songs, it'd be Ariel's, Chop Suey, and uh, crap, the second song, Tapeworm. What is that one?
Deer Dance, I think. Let
Is
me
it Deer
see.
Dance?
I've got the vinyl right here.
Yeah, track number two, where that oh the tapeworm out yet?
Needles.
Needles. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sitting in my room with a needle in my hand. Yeah, that one. I love that one.
Yeah. I like the energy of
Yeah.
the band. It's System of a Down's not necessarily their heaviness, but their energy of
Yeah.
the music reminds me of Slipknot, where
Uh,
it's got like that super energy that makes you want to like start moving around, start moshing.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But they kind of have that same energy, but it is heavy. But I mean, it's not like death metal or anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's heavy,
Yeah.
and it's got
Every
that
moment,
awesome energy.
and his voice is so unique too. Like you're never gonna have another one who sounds like him. You know.
No. And the unique lyrics definitely help with his voice. Because it's like,
Yeah.
you're never going to have lyrics like that with any other band. And you're never going to have that kind of vocal style with any other band.
Right.
So the two work perfectly together.
Yeah, they're very unique. Um, it's kind of a shame that they didn't last very long.
Yeah.
That their career was kind of cut short there.
Yeah. That was decently recent too, wasn't it? So I was hearing
What
stuff
is it?
that they were going to try to do a new album. And then
Oh, really?
started hearing about this and that, and this person said that, and not getting paid or something.
Mm.
Yeah,
I know. I don't really know much about why had, why they broke up or whatever, why they weren't around for very long. I just know that they only had a couple of albums really, and then were done.
yeah, they had four, I think.
Four, is that what it was?
Yeah, because they had,
I know the one with the hand. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, the one with
because
the
they had
hand,
like the two
and then toxicity,
after
and then still
toxicity.
album,
Yeah, that were kind of like,
and Still album or whatever, and then hypnotize.
yeah, memorize and hypnotize. That was like a double album
Oh,
almost.
oh, was it?
Oh
Was it
yeah,
two
and then
different?
they had Steal This Album. I'm
Yeah,
so stupid. But yeah,
I
so
was
they had
only, I
five.
was only thinking. Okay, five. So I was only thinking of toxicity, the one with the hand, and hypnotize. I forgot about Steal This Album, and I completely forgot about Mesmerize or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a pretty good run. I wouldn't say any. I haven't heard all the albums all the way through except for the first two. The first one, I think it was a self-titled.
Is that what
They,
it was?
yeah,
I
their
think the only
debut.
one I've heard off of that is Sugar.
Yeah, that's a pretty good album. And then I've heard Toxicity. I've only heard the first two all the way through, but heard
Yeah,
some other songs here and there from the other albums. But like, it seems like
the
they're one of
song
those.
is really good.
The what?
The song Hypnotize is really good, but I
Yeah.
haven't heard anything else off the album.
Have you heard Lonely Day?
Oh yeah, which one is that off?
I was about to ask you that.
Okay, I'm
'Cause I
not
can't
sure, but
remember.
yeah, I have heard that song.
Yeah, and then BYOB.
Oh yeah, those might be both off of their self-titled, I think, maybe.
No, that one was on Hypnotize or Memorize.
Oh
It was
really?
on one of those ones. Can't remember.
What? So
But
yeah, I
yeah.
really don't know all that much about them, but Toxicity is a great album. I've listened to that one so many times through.
Oh yeah.
And I like to it's the something too that stands out about Toxicity is they they go from having like serious songs with deeper meanings to with like chop suey and stuff like that, and then to like songs that literally they've admitted doesn't really mean anything at all, like Jet Pilot.
Yeah.
So like it's just such a perfect balance of seriousness and goofiness that I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it could ever be replicated.
Yeah. That's something that that's kind of like just a System of a Down thing because like I remember in an interview because they have some songs that are kind of more political. And in an interview, I think the
Yeah.
drummer was saying, oh, the drummer or the bassist, I can't remember who, but he was saying that we're not playing in Turkey because they don't want us playing these certain songs.
Oh yeah.
And he was saying, like, there's no disrespect to the fans. We just don't want to do this because if like the government or whatever says, if you're going to play here, you can't play this, this, and that, that's
Yeah.
taken away our right to even write those songs in the first place.
Yeah. And their stuff is very political.
Yeah. They're Armenian, too.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So,
Yeah.
and and they don't deny the Armenian genocide. So,
Oh, what's his name? Tank would be proud.
yeah,
uh, but yeah, just how ridiculous songs like Jet Pilot and Bounce are, and then how like serious songs like uh, Prison Song and Chop Suey, Aerials, like I don't know.
yeah,
It's all over the place, but it works so well.
yeah. They're all over the place too, on stage, going back and forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this is one of those albums that go by so fast too. You get so into it by the first song that all the other songs just go by, and the album is like 40 minutes, and it's like a quick 40 minutes. It's one of those kind of albums. Because
Yeah.
like most albums are roughly like 40 minutes anyway.
Mm.
But
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a very long album.
Yeah, which is definitely good, and that definitely helps with like pretty much all of the songs except for like Ariel's, all like heavy.
Yeah.
It's got that pumped up energy.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, Prison Song is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I know how to play
And
it,
I
and
didn't
it's really fun.
realize, when I was watching Anthony Fantano's review there on YouTube, I didn't realize that the album was actually pre 9/11. It came out before 9/11
Uh,
happened. Like with some of the stuff that they're talking about, the political stuff, like it feels like after 9/11. So it's like it's
wow.
almost as if it becomes more relevant as time goes on,
Yeah,
which is impressive.
yeah,
It's one thing to sing about stuff that is happening, but it's another thing when you're like 20 years later or whatever, and you're like, oh man, this is still relevant.
yeah, yeah. Um, one song. Well, I mean, all the songs stand out to me, but one song that I feel is kind of underrated, it goes kind of under the radar, is Forest. That's a good
Oh
one.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
the grooviness of it. The beat is really catchy and stuff.
yeah, yeah. I think Aqua is another underrated one that kind of one of the lesser songs on the album, but it's still really good.
Yeah, that's a
I don't
good
know if
one.
you pronounce it Aqua or if it's just like ATWA or whatever, but
Yeah,
Aqua, whatever.
à toi,
Aqua, Aqua,
à toi.
Aqua.
Have to look up.
Aqua.
Have to look up it live, and if the single introduces it, or if he even introduces the song at all. But if he comes up
Yeah,
and he's like, "This next song is called à toi,"
Aqua.
that would be so funny.
Yeah, it would be pretty great.
Okay, I do need to look at the album here though. because I need to be reminded of some of the other songs. Deer Dance, good song. Jet
Psycho.
Pilot. Oh yeah.
Psycho. Go crazy.
And the first ever song that we ever heard was Shimmy, because it was on
Oh yeah. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4,
yeah,
I believe.
it was on that. Oh man, that's so old now. But PlayStation
Yeah.
2 game.
Yeah.
Heard that.
That wasn't even the first one that we played either. Like Tony Hawk
Yeah.
Pro Skater 2 on PlayStation 1 was the
I
first
know.
one we played.
Oh man.
And like there's music from that one that we discovered too. Like Papa Roach
Yeah.
before Last Resort or whatever, we were jamming out to Blood Brothers.
So, anything else you want to add to toxicity? Any other comments you want to say?
I don't think so. If anyone likes YouTube and stuff, and with the music, definitely like check out Anthony Fantano's review on it because he talks really good about it, and I pretty much agree with everything he said too. So
Yeah. But yeah, like I pretty much like every aspect of it. Drums, bass, guitar, and music and stuff. The vocals and lyrics. And that's something else too, because kind of like what you said, how the lyrics get from serious and goofy. Sometimes you can
yeah,
kind of tell that with the guitar. That it kind of,
yeah,
like the guitar kind of gets goofy too. Because like it's real
yeah,
heavy during Prison Song, and then the first and second verse, it's got that dun, 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 little
yeah,
part, so the guitar
yeah,
itself, like the music too, gets goofy in the serious songs, in the ones in the
yeah,
song that's like lyrically very serious song, it's got goofy
yeah,
guitar. But yeah,
yeah.
I like this album. Definitely recommend it.
I
And
do too.
I would probably give it a 8 out of 10.
I'd probably give it the same, 8 out of 10.
Pretty good rating.
Yeah, really good rating.
Yeah. But yeah, Toxicity, System of a Down, 8 out of 10. And I definitely do recommend you start listening to more of their other stuff, because I have
Yeah, for
heard
sure.
the whole first album. It's really good. It's very,
Yeah,
I mean, all their music's similar, because, I mean, it's System of a Down. I haven't
right.
heard a whole lot from the other ones, but this is still all good. So, let's move on. And to this next section, the final section of the podcast. And I say
Can I
final,
talk
but
about one more?
okay, yeah.
Because so I just wanted to see if you feel the same way about this. Before uh, before I was listening to Toxicity, I was listening to the thrash albums from Metallica, the early stuff, a
Yeah.
lot. And I found myself, listening to And Justice for All, Master of Puppets, Ride the Lightning, I'd listen to them through a few times each before switching off to something else. But I never put in Kill 'Em All. And, I like the album Kill 'Em All, but I was just kind of thinking about, like, why I don't revisit that one as much, even though I like it. And so I was thinking about this, and I was like, I think it's, you know, not because not because I don't like it, but because when I listen to it, I just know and can hear in the back of my mind like songs like Seek and Destroy would have been so much better with Mustaine's voice.
Yes.
Like so many of those songs, and he wrote like all of them practically, but like I find myself thinking, man, this song would have been better if Mustaine was on it. And I think that's maybe why I don't go back to revisit Kill 'Em All like I do the other Metallica albums. Because even though, it's probably the purest in thrash, it's not as much the Metallica that they were, because that wasn't their stuff
Yeah.
as much as it was Mustaine stuff.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I honestly find myself kind of doing the same. I mean, I haven't really like recently, uh, hardly ever gone back and listened to the whole albums of like Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets, but like
Yeah,
Kill 'Em All in my mind is more of a Megadeth album than Metallica.
yeah, yeah,
It's like Megadeth had,
yeah. And I can actually have Megadeth on it, and I
yeah,
think that's why.
it's like Megadeth almost had like a two-part debut album, Kill 'Em All and then Killing Is My Business, which kind of makes sense because they
Yeah,
both have kill in it.
yeah.
But yeah,
So yeah, I've been thinking about that recently, because I was like, it's like that one being like the purest of thrash metal, like, or at
oh
least
yeah,
for Metallica's purest thrash metal. Like, why do I find myself not wanting to listen to that one the way that I listen to Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets? And I think that's why. I think it's because it feels more Mustaine to me than the Metallica that actually played it for the album.
yeah, yeah. I totally agree. And honestly, Kill 'Em All is probably the only album I actually buy because
Mm.
this isn't saying that I think all their albums are bad or anything like that, even though some of them are. Saint Angle.
They've had a lot of bad albums.
Oh yeah, but like I just can't bring myself to put my money down and support them
Yeah,
because of how they are. You know, the stuff with Dave Mustaine, because that's one reason why the Big Four split up. You know, and recently or whatever, a couple years ago, whenever they stopped doing Big Four shows, because they were going to Mustaine and like, we're gonna re-release Kill 'Em All. We got this other song or something that you had a part of. We're gonna release on it, and then they basically said you're not gonna get any credit. And Dave Mustaine was like, "Screw you." So I
jeez.
mean, that's the I don't know if you ever heard that, but that's basically like
I
the
didn't,
reason.
I didn't hear about that. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Like, that
that's
makes me,
that's basically the
because
reason
like,
why the Big Four's not doing
dang,
those
yeah, because
concerts
last
anymore.
that I knew was that they had kind of talked to each other and kind of made up, and then they were doing the Big Four shows, and I had no idea about that.
Yeah. So
Dang. Yeah,
that
and
kind
then,
of
there was the whole thing with like Lars Ulrich like going after people for copyright stuff with the
yeah,
downloading off the internet and like suing people over it. It's
yeah.
like, come on, man, you're making millions. Like,
You,
just chill
Metallica
out.
has made their own record label.
Yeah,
You're
for
the
real.
only you're like the first band to play in Antarctica. What more do you want? I've
Yeah,
heard that they no,
get
that
over
was a different band.
yourself.
Never mind. But yeah, like I just can't bring myself to really support them. And even with Kill 'Em All, which is kind of
Yeah,
their best album,
Yeah.
I'd say kind of because it's not really Metallica.
Right. Right.
But like even Kill 'Em All, I'm still like very hesitant about. Because every time I go in like Bones and Noble, I see that Kill 'Em All vinyl, only $20. You know, I see Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning there too, but they look cool. But I just can't bring myself to buy them because I just can't support that band. You know, if a
Yeah.
band is like honest and they're, because like I know it's you separate like the art from the artist kind of thing, but if
Yeah.
like if the artists or the musicians are just basically like that, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
support their music.
Yeah. Yeah. You can appreciate their music after they're like dead and gone or something, and separate the artist from the art at that point. Like,
Yeah,
but while they're alive, and greedy like this, yeah, don't.
yeah,
Like I have the old thrash metals albums from them from I had like all the Metallica albums back when I was a
yeah.
teenager, and I've gotten rid of most of them. Like I pretty much only kept the first five, I guess.
Yeah,
I do keep the Black Album because I like it as a rock album. I
yeah.
think it's a good rock album, but it is not a thrash album, and it is their sellout point.
Oh yeah. But you know,
But yeah,
Megadeth.
yeah. What's up? Sorry.
Megadeth had an awesome rock album too, which I definitely want to go more into on a possibly another episode of the podcast. But Risk,
Oh, yeah.
such
Oh
an
yeah.
underrated album. People hate it, but I love it. But yeah, yeah. But like with the metal scene, Metallica's really the only band that's like that. That I really
Yeah.
say that I can't support this band because of how they act and how greedy they are. Every other
Right.
band I
They're more
support.
about the music usually, like most metal bands.
Yeah,
Like
obviously.
that's why they have the best fans. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm buying, especially recently because North Carolina, Fayetteville doesn't have a FYE anymore.
Oh
But
really?
even then, I'd still probably do this with certain albums because they don't have it. I've been buying off of record labels' websites. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
that's keeping it real. I'm not like finding it for cheap on eBay, which is nice sometimes, but like
Yeah.
buying it from the record label, you know, that's a good thing. It's showing
Yeah.
support,
Right.
not just to the band, but to the record label, so that they can keep
Yeah.
releasing, helping these bands release stuff, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
You don't have an FYE anymore. Wow.
yeah, that was a while ago. It was, I feel like it was out before I actually moved here,
Mm.
or just going out or something.
You have a second in Charles though. I don't have a
Yeah,
second in Charles here in Kentucky.
yeah, but Second Charles doesn't really release new albums or stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But you are able to find
Yeah,
used stuff way better than I am.
yeah. And Second Charles is owned by Books a Million, so I can get a hold of some Books a Million Second Charles exclusives and stuff.
Mm.
Not
Yeah.
FYE exclusives, but okay. So I guess for this last part of the last section of the podcast, go into the top 10, top 5 list, which is actually a top 5 this time.
You, let me get out my notes. I have it on my notes here.
I have it written down too. Go ahead and introduce it since you were the one that came up with it.
Okay, yeah, so as I mentioned, Rammstein is like my second favorite band ever, and it's what made me want to take German in high school and stuff. So I thought, most people have at least heard of Rammstein. So I thought we'd do like a top five German bands other than Ram, so you can have some more German language music to check out in the heavy metal / hard rock category.
Yeah. Now, I actually picked... Well, I have an honorable mention that sings mostly in English, I think, but I haven't heard a whole lot. But my number 5 pick does sing in English, but they're still German.
Okay,
Do you have an honorable
gotcha.
mention?
I do not have an honorable
Okay.
mention, no.
The only reason I
Um,
did... Because, like, both my honorable mention and number 5, I've only heard, like, 5 songs from each band. So that's why I'm kind of have them low. But my honorable mention is the power metal band Blind Guardian.
okay.
I've heard a few of their songs. The one I really like is the Bard song. Really good. But yeah, power metal, man. You can't go wrong with power metal. Yeah.
That reminds me, Halloween is German, right? That
Yes,
they
they
sing
are.
English. So that'll be my honorable mention then, my English
Yeah.
language German fan. Check out Halloween.
Oh, yeah. They're good.
They're,
I've definitely heard them a lot more than Blind Guardian.
yeah.
Okay, so what's your number 5?
All right, so my number 5 is Megahertz. So they're kind of, I think when I was looking them up, it said industrial metal. They could be kind of considered maybe hard rock too. They're not as heavy, but they've got some catchy stuff.
Yeah. Well, since they're not technically metal, you can just, screw off with that because this is a Metal Gladiator podcast. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
no,
I,
oh man.
I'm not
So,
limiting myself to metal. I am, however, limiting myself to music. This is
okay.
music-based podcast, obviously. But yeah,
So you want to talk about some Miley Cyrus on here or what? Like,
no. I mean, we'll trash talk her for sure, but because that's just kind of like a metalhead thing.
yeah.
But yeah, my number 5 is another power metal band. My last power metal band on the list, actually. They It's surprising because they look like a black metal band. Like they wear all the
Oh,
makeup
yeah.
and stuff, but they're power metal, and they're called Power Wolf.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Check out the
I
song.
haven't listened to them.
They have a new album that came out, and one of the songs is "Demons Are a Girl's Best Friend." That song is so catchy. It's it's crazy.
Cool.
Such a
I'll
good
have to
song.
check them.
I've only heard like 3 songs by them,
Mm.
but I'm highly recommending them already.
Do
Only 3
they
songs, and I'm like, everyone
sing-
needs to listen to this band.
do they sing in English?
The songs I've heard, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that they might sing in English completely. But I don't know
Yeah.
about Blind Guardian either, because like
Mm.
one band I do know that pretty much sings in English completely is Sodom, who's German.
Oh,
But they have one song that's in German, so who knows? They might
mm.
have both of the bands, like Blind Guardian and Powerwolf, might have a song or two that's in
Yeah.
German.
Yeah.
And I didn't put Sodom on here because there was like 3 or 4 thrash metal bands that I'm like, I'm not gonna put them on here because then I won't have any bands that actually sing in German.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be for another list.
Yeah.
They're more fitting for top 10 thrash bands anyway. Alright, what is your number 4?
All right. So my number 4 is Knorktor.
So is mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my number 4 is
uh,
Konokotor too.
Sweet. Well, we can talk about them together then.
Yeah.
They do a lot of they actually do a lot of comedy songs. So, but if you don't know any German or don't look it up, you wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
But
just
yeah, a lot of their songs are kind of comedic, but they're still, and two, something that really stands out for them that's really impressive is his vocal range.
yeah,
Because there are like super deep as a voice can get type of um, parts on songs, and then there's parts that are as high pitched as a guy could ever get, and he does both of them.
it's crazy.
Yeah. And also, have you seen his like tattoo?
I know. I've seen
Like
him.
half his body is like just the color black because of the tattoo. He just takes up his whole.
I know. He's in underwear on stage almost every concert,
Yeah,
and he's
yeah,
just up there with this whole half body tattoo. It's hilarious.
yeah,
Their look is definitely comedic. Like even if you don't know German or don't look him up, if you see their look, you'll be like, okay, this is probably like a comedic band.
yeah, yeah,
'Cause they're just goofy.
yeah, yeah. But still make catchy music, heavy music, and
Oh
yeah,
yeah, their stuff is so good.
yeah,
Ma Baker is a good one.
yeah.
Um,
That one shows his vocal range very quickly. It goes from really deep to really high pitched, really fast.
yeah. And then there's a ton of other songs that I don't know the titles to. That I'm
Yeah.
just kind of drawing blank. But one,
Mich verflucht meine eigene Scheiße. That's a good one.
yeah, the one album that's really coming to my
My own.
mind is this is something else that's very comedic. It's like half of their heads and then their legs on
Yeah,
the album cover, and that's the album that I really like. That's probably my favorite album by them.
that
Probably
was
the
the
only
one
one
that.
I've yeah, it's probably the only
That's
one I've
the,
heard all the way through.
oh yeah. That's the one that has Mich verflucht meine eigene Scheiße on
Okay,
it.
yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kanokator. Check them
Yeah.
out. Have a laugh if you look up the translation, but have a
Yeah.
laugh just watching them too, because oh my goodness.
Learn German and then listen to all these. Learn German while you listen to all these bands.
Yeah, it's quite the challenge. Learn German and then listen to these. Okay, so I have the feel. I don't know. They might be a little mixed up, but we might have the same top three, but they might not be in the same sections. So we're just gonna keep. What's your number three?
My number three is Eisberger.
Okay, mine is not. So talk about Eisberscher.
Okay. Yeah, Eisberger is it's actually the same lead singer as Megahertz.
Oh yeah, it
Um,
is, isn't it?
so they're kind of in that same category as Megahertz, kind of industrial metal and sometimes more hard rock. But they do definitely have very metal vibes to them sometimes too. Um, they're not the heaviest, but yeah, they got some good stuff. Anti Cooper and Vergiss mein nicht. Some good one. Vergiss mein nicht is actually a pretty chill, kind of slow song, but it's still
Yeah,
really.
yeah. I'm not gonna talk about them too much because they're farther on the list.
They're on your list too.
Yeah, but my number three is Oomph. So, Oomph.
I won't say anything about them right now.
Yeah.
I'll let you handle it.
I bet Eisberscher and Oomph are just switched around for us on our list. But my favorite album by them, and really the only one I've heard all the way through, is Monster. That's such a good album. It's really this album that really got me into the band in the first place. because it has such a good mix of songs. Like the first song's really good. They have a lot of catchy stuff too.
Yeah.
I kind of say they're more hard rock than metal sometimes, and that kind of
Yeah.
has something to do with like their grooviness and catchiness to them. But like
Yeah.
Labyrinth is a really good one.
Yes. That
Um,
whole album. The album's called Monster.
yeah, I
Um,
really like their album Ego too. That was a good one. I haven't heard
yeah.
that one all the way through yet. I've heard like half of it, but Ego's really good too. But yeah, Oomph. I
Yeah. And
recommend
I
them.
guess I'll go and start talking about Oomph since they're my number two.
There you go.
um, they are, yeah, they're a little bit more hard rock, but they are still like the in the wave of the new German hard rock. New Deutsche Härte is kind of what the movement or whatever was called, which Rammstein kind of fits into too, even though they're pretty metal most of the time too. But Oomph is actually like one of the bands that inspired Rammstein. Like they've actually been around longer. Um, so yeah, and they've been around. I don't know if they're still making music or not, but they've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Um, I think. Let's see. Like I said, that my album Monster is so good. I had to special order it from FYE because it was an import, but every single song on the album is just top notch. It's so good. We used to listen to that album all the way through while playing Left 4 Dead.
Oh, those were the
It was great.
days.
Yeah, it was great.
Those were
Um,
like the old days of all. That kind of took over the a little this is just like a little personal story for anybody who cares really. But we used to play multiplayer on like PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games, especially like fighting games and stuff, and some Medal of Honor and whatnot. But then when we got Xbox 360, we started playing more of like Call of Duty and Left 4 Dead, and then we ended up listening to a lot of German music, which is actually
yeah,
the way that I heard of all of the bands practically that are on the list, like Oomph, Eisbecher, Knokator. Not Rammstein,
yeah,
I've heard of Rammstein before that. But those three
right,
bands, I heard them while for the first time while playing a zombie game. So yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, highly, highly recommend Oomph. I mean, they're the guys that inspired Rammstein, so like,
Oh yeah, you gotta check them out.
yeah, or maybe not completely inspired, but
Yeah,
Rammstein definitely they were like an influence to them or whatever.
yeah.
So, yeah,
And I think I could be wrong on this. Don't quote me on it, but Monster came out 2008, and then Ego came
so,
out 2010. And actually, now that I'm really thinking about it, I'm pretty sure they had an album come out in 2017.
oh really?
I think so.
They have a lot of albums.
Yeah, they
Like they
definitely have
all
a
the way
good.
back to the early '90s.
Yeah, they
Like,
definitely have a pretty decent discography.
oh yeah,
But yeah, now that I'm just thinking about it, is so you might have seen it. I don't know, but like they're dressed up as like army men and they're on a tank or something. Have you seen
oh
anything? Yeah,
yeah.
that came out in
I don't think I've
2017.
seen anything on it, but yeah, you're right.
I haven't
So
heard
yeah, they're
anything
still
on that
getting,
album though yet. But
so
man, I
yeah,
gotta
they're
get on
probably
that.
still pretty active then, which is crazy impressive. They're getting up there with like bands like Rammstein and Iron Maiden who just keep making music no matter what.
Yeah, I know.
Won't break up and then come back years later for a reunion. They've actually stayed together. Like,
Oh yeah, you gotta respect those bands. Cause I mean,
oh,
not saying anything bad about like a band that comes to mind, Exodus. They've kind of broke up and then came back together, had a reunion, and just like a lot of
yeah,
bands that
lots
were
of
big
bands
in the '80s and '90s did that.
yeah, lots of bands have done that.
Not saying anything bad about those bands. There's most
Yeah,
of them all gotten back together and are playing now to this day, you know.
yeah,
But you got to respect the
exactly.
bands that, especially Rammstein.
Yeah,
Here's the
Rammstein's never had a lineup change.
yeah, that's crazy. They
That's
started in like
insane. Like their first album came out in like what 95, 96.
yeah, it was 95. A band
Yeah,
that's been playing since the early 90s. Not
they,
once did they ever have a
yeah,
lineup change. That is
yeah.
like
Like the
one of the
only
most
rumor about a lineup change that they had was um, like before they were like big, like early days before anybody knew who they were.
yeah,
They apparently had a different singer,
which we're
but
never
ever
gonna
since
know
they've
the
like
guy, you know.
yeah,
It's like
so ever
it
since
was
they've put out an album, a thing, yeah, they've never
yeah.
made a lineup change.
It's like they had a lineup change so early on in their career that we're never gonna know who or what he even sound like, who sung in the band before Till came in, you know. We're
Yeah,
never gonna know that who that guy is. But yeah, my number
right.
two is Eisberscher. And this was something I had, like, I knew who 5 and 4 was, and I knew who 1 was, but I have this trouble with top 10s or top 5s. I mentioned this last episode between the two Cannibal Corpse albums, Torture and the Skeleton Domain. I have so much trouble with certain two bands or albums or something of which one do I like more? Which one do I like
Yeah,
less than this one? But I think I like Eisberscher more because I do like the heaviness. Like Oomph is heavier than Eisberscher for the most part, you know. But I think I just like the
yeah,
different vibe that Eisberscher gives than a lot of the other bands who are more heavy than techno or groovy, you know. And I definitely
yeah,
love songs like Vergiss My Niche, Eyesight. You know,
yeah,
Eyesight
yeah,
is a fantastic album.
yeah. Which means ice time for people who don't speak German.
Ice Time. And Eisberscher is Icebreaker.
Yep.
I know German, yeah. Yeah, I know German, yeah. Dude,
Ja, ich sprach
we should have done this entire podcast with German accents. That would have been so weird. Especially when we were talking about System of a Down, an Armenian band. We're talking German. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, Eisberscher, definitely recommend. They're great, and it's one of those bands. Another reason why I kind of like them more than Oomph is it's one of those bands that I can show non-metalheads, and they can still enjoy
Mm,
it. You know, because they're really
yeah,
not metal,
right. They're
but it's
very
kind of like on the
yeah,
same level as. It's one of those bands that both metalheads and non-metalheads can come together and enjoy.
yeah.
Oomph, not so much because they do get heavy, but Eisberscher for sure. Definitely recommend them. Very catchy.
Yeah.
Number 1.
You want to go first? You want me to go first? You think it's the same one?
I think it's the same one. Okay,
Probably.
let's do this. On the count of 5, we're saying it at the same time. See
All
how
right.
that
Are
works.
you going to say it in German or in English?
I'll try to say it in German, but my pronunciation might be bad.
Yeah, I can't even like pronounce it properly in German.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe I say it in German and you say it in English at the same time.
I'm just going to
Because
say it how I always say it. So,
okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The
Yeah,
apocalyptic Stein
right
right.
there.
That was out of
Yeah.
sync, but whatever. Yeah, I knew it. That was gonna be number 1 because
So
we
yeah,
had
It's very hard to like spell. It's a very
I
difficult
know, I
word.
definitely spelt it
German.
wrong. Honestly,
So you can also find them by looking up the Apocalyptic Riders or DAR. Those are two other ways you can find them if you cannot spell Apocalyptenstein.
which I can't. Honestly, the
Yeah.
only German band that has their name in German on this list that I probably spelt right was Oomph. I feel like I spelt Kanokator wrong, I spelt Eisberscher wrong, and I definitely spelled the Apocalyptic Steinreiter wrong.
Yeah.
I think I might have spelt Powerwolf wrong too. I don't know. I'm kind of stupid sometimes. But yeah, okay. Anyway, we're talking about the Apocalyptic Steinreiter, not my IQ.
Yeah. So, yeah, these guys are great, and they are 150% metal.
Oh, they are the. Sometimes they, for sure, they are more metal than Rammstein, if you think about it.
Yeah,
Because
they're the
Rammstein
most
has some
metal.
songs that are like, hard rockish,
Yeah.
But man, this is this is metal right here.
Yeah. So if you like death metal, then listen to their early albums because their early albums are very death metal. If you
Yeah,
like power metal, their more recent albums are very power metal. So yeah, like or if you like both, then listen to them all, like us.
yeah. If you just like any metal genre ever, listen to
Yeah.
this band because they are so good. Like they
Yes.
are definitely my favorite band besides Rammstein, and I would say the Scorpions, but Scorpions aren't really metal technically. But just
Well,
coming
they
from
are.
Germany,
They're 80s metal.
yeah, coming from Germany, my top three favorite bands is Rammstein, Scorpions, and then the Apocalyptic Steinleiter.
Yeah.
It's a tongue twister.
Yeah. And so the album Licht, which means light, is probably my favorite album.
For
Uh,
sure. I definitely agree with that. It's so good.
yeah, like it's one of their more power metal albums, but it is just so good. Um, every song is just so catchy and like but heavy at the same time. And then you get towards the end of the album, and the song Monster, or no, not Monster. That was the album Adrenaline,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one is just so heavy hitting. It's like, oh, you're just like ready to like fight an army
I
after
know.
listening to that. You're like, bring it, let's go
And
right now.
and the oh man, I could just go on and on about their albums. I haven't heard all of their albums all the way through. I probably heard Lish and Samurai all the way through, but I have not.
Samurai is a really great one too.
There has not been a single song by this band that I have not felt the need to endlessly headbang to.
Yeah.
Well, I say
Oh yeah.
endlessly, but I mean the song obviously ends, and really the whole album does. But that's besides the point.
Yeah.
When you're trying to describe something, how awesome something is, logic doesn't necessarily come to mind.
Yeah. But, even I don't know how recent they've put out music, but I know they put out another album after Lisht called Die Boten, I think, and that one was pretty good too. Also very power metal.
Yeah,
Samurai was kind of an in-between album. They still they
yeah,
had their power metal elements at that point, but they were still like I feel a bit heavier than like Lisht. Like Lisht is heavy, but like in a power metal way.
yeah,
And I feel like Samurai was a little bit more death metal heavy, if that makes sense. I don't know. What do you think? You're a little bit more. This is more your expertise, but that's kind of how I feel about it anyway. I don't know if I'm
yeah.
explaining it well.
Sam, I mean, I honestly think this band is almost like the perfect mix of power metal and death metal.
I would agree.
I mean, you can say this album's more this album's more this, but honestly, it just comes down to this band is power death metal.
Yeah.
And they did, I'm looking it up now, they did have an album in 2017, and they're still present, like they're still playing.
What was the 2017 one called?
Der Writer, probably
Okay.
butchering the
Red Rider.
pronunciation, but um,
Die Rider. Yeah, that'd be the Red Rider. I've not heard of that one. So I didn't. The
yeah,
last one that I've heard of them coming out was Die Boten, I think it was called, or maybe that was just a song on it.
that's probably just a song, because I'm not seeing anything, especially after Lish.
Hmm.
And,
Let me
my goodness,
look
we have
up
to
real
talk about this song. I mean, this album, Riders of the Storm. My
Oh
goodness.
yeah.
The one between
Oh,
Samurai and...
it's so epic. Oh my gosh, that is the most epic song like ever. They do have
Trust.
a good bit of English um on the Samurai album too.
Yeah. If I'm gonna narrow this down, and you know, if you like any form of heavy metal, listen to this band, and if it's like, I honestly, it's one of those bands that are just so good that I honestly can't understand anybody who wouldn't like them, especially if they're into metal.
Yeah.
Cause, like I said, it's just a such a good blend between power metal and death metal, which is two like completely different genres that
Yeah.
have completely different fan bases,
Yeah.
Like one's more melodic and opera sounding, the other is super brutal and growling, the
Yeah.
kind of
And they
stuff
just
that will,
fit them both perfectly.
yeah, it's so amazing.
Yeah.
So amazing.
Okay, so I'm looking at their albums now. So Lisht was 2008.
Yeah,
Um,
I had it pulled up here too.
yeah, so the one that I was thinking of, the last one I saw come out was Moral and Bonson, and that's the one that
Moral
I
and
think had the
Bonson.
song Deboten on it.
Yeah,
So I have not heard anything from Die Rote Reiter.
yeah, I haven't either.
I'll
I've
have to
heard a
check
little
that.
bit from all their albums except for that one.
Mm.
I've heard a couple songs from Tife Typher, the 2014 one.
Oh, Tifa.
Yeah, but
I've
man,
not heard
I
of that.
I love some of their early stuff too. Like their first couple albums are just so good.
Yeah. What is it? Nuclear Blast Showdown? Is that their earliest one? I think
Yeah,
I might have heard that one.
and then the album All You
No,
Need Is Love.
yeah.
We can
So,
honestly just keep going on and name all these songs and be like, oh, that's such a good one. Be like total nerds about it. But I honestly think that my statement earlier was the best way to sum it up. They're power, death metal. Check them out.
yeah.
Recommend them. Highly recommend them. If there's
Oh
one
yeah.
band on either of our lists that you listen to, if you just want to pick one, pick this one. Not because
Yeah.
it's number one, but I mean because they're number one.
Yeah. And like I said, searching for it, just type in the Apocalyptic Riders in English or DAR, and you should find it.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah,
just
because the
typed in,
German word for apocalyptic is just
yeah,
insanely hard to
I
pronounce.
just typed in die, like DIE, and then AP, and it's usually like one of the like suggestions in the
Hmm.
search bar. You definitely know, if you don't know how to spell it, you definitely know what it looks like. The apocalyptic Steinreiter.
Yeah.
Just know how to spell de and Reiter.
Yeah.
My goodness, I don't even think most Germans know how to spell apocalyptic Stein. No, they probably do that. That's just a bad joke.
You get like a ton of Germans like, Like, actually, this is a simple word for us.
I learned that when this stupid Americana. I learned that word when I was like 2. I learned how
Yeah.
to pronounce that word and spell it when I was like 2, drinking in the pub with my father.
Uh,
I don't know why I would think that a 2-year-old German would be drinking in a pub. I don't know. That's just something I threw in there. Thought it would be funny.
well, he'd be drinking beer for sure. I don't know if they call them pubs in Germany or not.
Yeah, probably not. That's a UK thing.
Well, I think you got to be 16 to drink in public in Germany.
16. To drink in public.
Yeah, to drink in public. I've not seen anything that actually has a legal drinking age. It's just like in public you got to be.
I want to go to Germany now. But, I mean, it doesn't matter because I'm already 21.
It doesn't matter anymore.
But,
Yeah.
yeah. I definitely recommend all the bands on there. Oh, honorable mentions, and our number 5 was different, but 4 onwards were pretty much all the same. We just had 2 and 3 switched.
Yeah.
But Powerwolf, check him
Yeah.
out. Konokotor, check him out. Oomph, check him out. Eisbecher, the Apocalypse Megahertz, and Blind Guardian, and Halloween.
Yep.
All those German bands, check them out. So yeah,
For sure.
any closing comments, my brother?
I don't think so. If anybody likes movie collecting, follow me on Instagram. It's Vilcamps93.
Camps 93.
I
I'll
don't
type
know.
it. I'll probably try to get a link in the description.
Oh, you can link it? Okay, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
Well, with YouTube, anyway. I don't know about Podbean. Might be a little different there. I'll at least type it in the description. So people
Okay,
can
yeah. Cool.
get to it.
It's Vilcamps, but it's like with W.
Yeah.
Because of German.
German.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing I had you on this episode because just me talking about German stuff would have been pathetic.
So, well, I'm the one who kind of introduced it to you because I got so into Rammstein, and then that made me want to learn German in high school, and
Yeah.
I got into it. So,
Okay, so I guess that will wrap things up with the second episode here. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Ian Sylvain. I'm the Metal Gladiator I'm the Metal Gladiator. Thank you for listening to the Metal Gladiator podcast. I'll try to keep this consistent. I don't know. I haven't really come up with any kind of schedule yet because I want to have guests every now and again. I don't want to keep doing this by myself because I literally just did that whole episode by myself. William actually doesn't really exist. He's just a figment of my imagination. No. Go follow William on Instagram if you like movie collecting. I have a YouTube channel if you listen to this on YouTube. Subscribe, I guess. There's definitely more of this to come. If you're YouTube only or Podbean only, go to the other platform and listen to it. Give it a like, all that blah blah blah. Anyway, that's it. And see you on the next episode.